today we are on our last installment of Foundational Cadences for Grade 4 UNISA Theory of Music. So I have previously made a video on perfect, imperfect and plagal cadences, so do be sure to check out those 3 videos for sub-foundational concepts about how we approach cadences. Now today we are looking at the interrupted cadence, otherwise known as the receptive cadence, because it so deceives. When we do land on a dominant, we do expect, because of that tension, to resolve back home, so we want to go back to the tonic. However, this becomes interrupted when we actually move from the dominant to almost tonic-like function, but in a weird way. We're going to move to the sub-median triad. So as people like to say, 5 to 6, but I like to use its technical name. So we have the dominant going to sub-median in a major key, and the dominant going to big sub-median, major sub-median in a minor key. So remember to figure correctly. Dominant is of course always major, but in a major key, sub-median is minor, and in a minor key, sub-median is major. So the reason why I say sub-median sometimes has a little bit of a tonic function or wants to disguise itself as the tonic is because they're actually very supplementary. The tonic chord actually has 2 notes in common with the sub-median chord. Let's check it out. Let's take an easy key like C major. If we are thinking about our tonic chord in C, we have C, E, G. And if we're thinking about our sub-median chord in C, what do we get? We have C, D, E, F, G, A. We have A, C, E. And what you can see right over here is that this note is in common. This note is in common. So actually they can disguise themselves as each other if they would. Because this one just has a G, this one has an A as an extra. So there are times when they can act like each other and function like each other, or deceive, because when we hear the dominant and it's very tense as a leading note and everything, we think, okay, now I want to go to tonic, but then they surprise you by not going to the tonic. They surprise us by going to this chord instead of that chord. So instead of hearing a C, E, G, we're now hearing something with a C and an E, but then an A. Something is deceiving us and we're like, whoa, that's a cool chord. It's not what I expected. It's different. It's a little bit like, okay, I expected a little bit of this C and E, somewhat satisfactory, but also it's catching me off guard. So that's why we call this the interrupted cadence or the deceptive cadence, whatever you want to call it. Let's just go ahead and stick to calling it interrupted in this video. But this is why it's here, to interrupt us. So just with that little context in mind, we are going to think about this in an abstract way. Now we're taking it out of its musical context just to like write this cadence in isolation. So you'll find this cadence not usually at the end of a work or at the end of a whole piece, but you'll find it at the end of phrases, maybe surprisingly at the end of certain sections or movements in pieces if the composer so wants to deceive us. But this is more something that happens for us now, and if we're thinking of going on to grade 5 theory of music, this is something that will happen in the middle of our exercise or at the end of a first phrase or something, but definitely not at the end of a second phrase, not at the end of our exercise or at the end of our piece. When you see a double bar line, that is not where we're going to try and be all deceptive. We're not going to have a dominant, sub-median cadence there. We will have it more at the end of a first phrase or a middle phrase. But let's go ahead and now look at this in a little bit of a music context. I have put in time signatures and I have given us note values for which we can write these chords. So let's go ahead and harmonize. So first things first, if we see big dominant, big sub-median, we know we're in a minor key. So key with 2 sharps, B minor, and we're going to figure this dominant chord in minims and the sub-median chord in minims. But we do need to go ahead and outline our chord notes. So what is our dominant chord in B minor? So of course we are on F sharp, so we're going to go F sharp, A sharp, C sharp, all the sharps, there we go. And then our sub-median chord, so one out from F sharp would of course be G, so we have G, B, D, a major chord, yay. So rules now, they are very different from what we know about perfect, imperfect and plagal. And the only thing that differed there was after they had their notes in common, say the same, how would the remaining voices lead? Would they lead down stepwise or would they lead up stepwise? That was just the end of that there. But here we don't have any notes in common. As you can see, F sharp, A sharp, C sharp, G, B, D. They couldn't be more different. So now, rules. We're going to double the root in the dominant, so F sharp. But we are going to double the third in the submedian triad. So why are we going to do that? Well, you see this B and you see this B? Ooh, B is actually our tonic of our whole key. Our whole B minor surrounds itself with B. And like I said, sometimes this chord wants to act like the tonic. And if we were on a tonic chord, we would double the root, so we would have two B's. Now, this is sort of trying to make itself look like a tonic in a certain way. So we're actually going to double the B's. So the middle note of that chord. Then this middle note is so important that this middle note, which is the leading note of your whole key, we of course expect that to go T-do. Not that I'm singing on pitch there, but we expect that movement of leading note to tonic. So this middle note of this chord is going to go to this middle note of this chord, which is actually this B, which is actually the tonic. So that's great. That's kind of the rules that we need to know, and then we will think about other things afterwards. So we're going to go ahead and put in our F sharp for our dominant. It is the root. Then I'm going to have F sharp over there. I'm going to have my C sharp over here. I'm going to have my A sharp over there, and I need to put that sharp in because of course we're in a minor key. I need to indicate my raised seventh. Then we obviously need to have our root notes both in the bass. Ooh, mistake. I put the stem going down. Sorry about that. And I put the stem going up. Okay, in haste I did that. Ooh, so make sure that you don't do that. Soprano stem needs to go up, alto stem needs to go down, tenor stem needs to go up, and bass stem needs to go down. Okay, so we do need to have both of our roots in the bass, of course, so F sharp here, G over there. Then the next thing is that this middle note must lead to this middle note. So the A sharp has to go to a B. So the A sharp is there in the alto, so now I need a B in the alto. So here I have a G and a B gone. I need still a B and a D. Now, the remaining two voices here will both lead down. It's just one will lead down stepwise and one will lead down the third. Okay, so that's a definite for us. So here's our stepwise one, C sharp to B, and here's our third, F sharp to D. So to recap this, we have both root notes in the bass. Our middle voice of this chord will go to the middle voice of this chord. So A sharp going to be also known as our leading note going to tonic. The remaining two voices, they will both go down, but one will go down stepwise, one will go down a third. And that is that. So we don't have any note in common here. A mistake usually in the beginning is when people start doubling the root here. That becomes weird and tricky and not nice. Remember, you have to double your root in the dominant and double your third, which is actually also your tonic of your whole key, in the submedian chord. Now, of course, if you're in a minor key, remember to raise that seventh, but that's that. So it's not too complicated. Yes, it is different from our previous cadences that we know and love, but it's not ugly. You can still get your 7 full percent on a single interrupted cadence exercise in your UNISA exam. Let's try out a major key example. So here we are, we're in G major. Great, so we're going to harmonize this in crotchets, harmonize this in crotchets, and we're thinking about our dominant chord first. Our dominant in G is D, F sharp, A. And then we're thinking about our submedian chord in G, which is of course based on E. So we have E, G, B. And as you can see, no notes in common. So I'm going to double my root there. I'm going to double my third here. The third of this chord needs to go to the third of that chord. And I even always like to write this down. I do the arrow every time in my rough work. It just helps me to understand and visualize that, okay, yes, this must go to this, so that I know it. Even though my mind knows it. Sometimes when I'm busy writing down the music things, stuff can happen. Like stuff happened there. And then I have to double check myself. But here, this is already me double checking myself before I start. So it puts me on a good footing. So my chord, I'm going to start on a D. Remember, we are in crotchets, bass stem goes down. Okay, so I think I'm going to do a little bit something different here. I actually want to put my soprano voice there. Kind of low, but that's okay. I'm going to put my D over there and my F sharp there. We'll swap that around afterwards just to see. Now my submedian, of course, needs to have its E in the bass because that is the root note in the bass. Next, this note must go to this note, so the F sharp has to go to a G. That's in the alto at the moment. Then I have a G and a B left, and like I said before, the remaining two voices need to go down. One down stepwise, one down a third. So I can see that this one will go down stepwise. Soprano goes to G, and then this one will go down a third. The D will go down to the B in the tenor voice. Great. And there's no raising of anything that needs to happen. That is that beautiful cadence. So let's quickly see if I rearrange the voices, what would happen. So of course, wherever the F sharp is, it's going to lead to G because that's what voice leading means. The F sharp is going to go to the G. Then the D is going to go to the B. The A is going to go to the G, in whichever voice it may be. So let's swap around those voices and let's see what happens. I'm going to put the D over there. I'm going to put my F sharp over there. I'm going to put my A over there. So F sharp needs to go to the G, great. Then it goes over here. My other G is going to be preceded by this A. So we have our G there. And then this one falls down a third. There we go. And let's try it in yet another way. So for instance, if I decided to put my D in the tenor and my F sharp over there, my A over there, what would happen? Same thing. We have the F sharp leading to G. We have the D going to B, bit low, but that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that for altos. And then the A has to go to the G. I can also do a little bit of a swap with these voices. So I can swap my A and my F sharp just because I can swap for the F sharp there and the A there. This will still go to G and this will also still go to G. So we have our root notes in the bass. We have the middle note here going to the middle note here. So F sharp going to G. The remaining two voices go down. One goes down stepwise, A to G. The other one falls down a third, D to B. And there we have it. So in any way we actually want to arrange these voices, the voice leading will still be the same. So to recap, in both major and minor keys for our interrupted cadence, you have to double the root note in your dominant and you have to double your third in the submedian. Then, of course, your root notes will go in the bass voice. Then where your middle note of your dominant chord is, that is going to lead to the middle note of your submedian chord. Then the remaining two voices will both fall down. One will go down stepwise and one will go down a third. So those are the rules for your interrupted cadences. Now I hope that this has helped you demystify the interrupted cadence a little bit. See, it's not as scary as you may have thought before, and I hope that this has helped you prepare for your cadence writing for your UNISA Grade 4 Theory of Music exam.